And here we are at lesson 8, borders. And this is where we left lesson 7. I'm going to get rid of the data here by simply selecting the 3 cells of data and pressing the delete key. That's got rid of all the data. Now, we have already learnt about these grid lines, and we understand that if we go to view, we can switch the grid lines off or back on again. We do understand that when we print, the grid lines won't appear. We know that because under page layout, we understood the grid lines don't have a tick under print. So when we come to print this, the grid lines aren't there. But when we view the spreadsheet, they do appear. And again, we could switch that off if we wanted to. It's the same button. So what if I did want the grid lines to appear? Well, I could do the print, but that's then going to do it across every single cell. Maybe I only want certain cells to appear with a grid line. Well, we don't call it a grid line, we call it a border. So let's just go to cell D3 and let's go to the home option. As I go through, I've got the undo, the clipboard and the font. Now it's quite unusual, but under the font option in the middle is this icon here. And you can see that when I move my mouse over top, then the little help box appears and it offers me bottom border. And if I click on that and move the active cell away, I've got a bottom border there. If I now go to page layout and turn the grid lines off, that remains. Doesn't appear anywhere else, just there. I'm going to put the grid lines back, go back to home. What other options do I have? Well, next to that option is a little drop down menu. So if I click on that, I get another options. I've got bottom, then I've got top. Well, let's click on top. Does that remove the bottom? No. So I can add to the list of items I've got. On the drop down, I've got left and I've got right. So I've got now a box. Now if I want to get rid of that box, I could select no border, and as if by magic it's disappeared. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clicks to make that box, and then just 1 click to get rid of it. That seems a serious waste of time. And the nice thing is I have the option to just simply say all borders, and that puts a box around it. I also have another option. Let's just get rid of that, no borders. If I click there, I also have one that says outside borders. So how does outside borders differ from all borders? Well, now let's see. Let's just get rid of that one. Now let's choose a selection of cells. Now let's do all borders. And you can see it's now done a border around all the cells I selected. And if I select that range of cells again and then choose no borders, they've all disappeared. If I do that again and I now say outside borders, that's all it's done, giving me the outside. If I tell it to do thick outside borders, then clearly it's done thick outside borders. And I have a number of other options. I could use a double line at the bottom and so on. The thing is that that's really neat, but there are a load and load of options that I might want. I might not want the double border at the bottom, but I might want it on the right or the left or at the top. And I might want it in the middle. And I might want thick outside along the top. I might want a multitude of options. And I've only got a finite number of options here. So what if I wanted to change lots of things? What if I wanted to have more control? Well, if we go all the way to the bottom, we've got one that says more borders. And if I click on more borders, then what I have here, can you see this? This is what I've already got for that selection. I put a double underline, it's showing it to me there. And I can simply click on this image to remove the lines. If you notice, the double line became a solid line. That's because that was the other line that existed. It took me 2 clicks. But what I can do very simply is choose the line and then simply click where I want them to go. That would do the outside border. Now that might seem more of a waste of a click, but actually, what if I click in the middle? Though I only had to click once, it's done all of those vertical lines for me because I told it to do all inside lines. And I can obviously do the same for the rows, so the horizontal lines. And I can change them. I can decide which ones I want by selecting each one. I could take the top line away and tell it to be double, or I could choose that one. And since that's the one selected, wherever I now click, it will change to that double line. But if I didn't want it, I just click again and keep clicking, get rid of it, or change it to what I do want it to be. And if I want that one, all the inside ones, to be a dot dash, I can do that. I can even change the colour of the lines. Let's choose a bright red. Now that's a bright red dashed. That's a thick red border. And the more I do that, the more I can alter. I can even change the colour and do a diagonal. What use that is, it looks very creative, but that's fine. I've got that. Now I'm going to select all these and I'm going to press the delete key on my keyboard. Oh, nothing's happened. Well, these are borders. This is not data. So Excel's not allowing me to delete it because the delete key deletes data, not borders. And clearly the easiest way of getting rid of the border is to go no borders, and it's gone. And again, there's nothing wrong with selecting the whole sheet and telling it all borders. But why would you do that? Now, in the next video, we're going to be doing a revision exercise. We've learned lots over the last sets of videos. So we want to do a revision exercise where we go over that and practice it. So before we do that anymore, I've got my lessons XLS, and hopefully if you've been stopping the videos and going away, you've got used to saving your work. But you may have kept along or kept it open in the terror that actually you don't know how to save, you can't remember. So that's fine. Remember, you can go to File, and because we've saved this file already, we can go to Save, and that will simply save it. I could click on this disk symbol. That too would save it. The other choice is to click on the X there, and people are always terrified of clicking the X because it's big and it's red and it's saying X, don't do that. And early versions of Windows, that was a very bad way of closing things down. But if I click on this, and because I've made a change to this sheet, if I click on that, it will warn me that I haven't saved it, and it's giving me the option. Do I want to save this worksheet, workbook, or do I want to not save it, or do I want to cancel and just go back, take a breath, recover from the panic, and either click on the disk symbol there to save it, or go to save there, or give it a new name and save it. This is called lessons.xls, and I'm just going to click save. It's told me it's saved. That's fine. It's all ready to be closed. Now I can click on the X, and it now closes Excel as well. All ready for the revision lesson in the next video. See you there.